Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew and today we're doing a review of the Playmates Shimo with Frostbite. This is the standard release from the single 6-inch variety packs. And I do want to just say that I'm not going to be that guy that tags spoilers in this video because unlike Mechagodzilla, I don't really think Shimo was like fully intended to be a spoiler monster. I mean, this is a discussion like entirely up for debate, but honestly, it seemed like Warner Brothers and Legendary had different views for Shimo. Warner Brothers wanted to keep this secret, but Legendary did not. Because keep in mind, Legendary handles all the toys and merch. Warner Brothers does all the marketing. So I feel like what happened was maybe they released the trailer, then the Playmates figure dropped, and then they were like, "Oh wait, Shimo's already revealed. Why don't we just show her in the trailer?" And then boom. So unlike Mechagodzilla, where they both unanimously decide to agree to keep it secret, Shimo is obviously not a secret anymore, and probably never was. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Playmates figure. So before this actual review kicks off, I need to discuss that I am not reviewing this when the movie comes out. I'm reviewing this right now a week ahead because, well, I just got the figure and I personally feel like it should be just kind of done and over with now. So let's go ahead and just kind of take a look at it. So we're not going to be discussing movie accuracy because the only things we have are a few renders of the film and a few shots in the trailers. So that's not really enough to really signify how accurate this Shimo is. If I had to say it's accurate, in terms of the sculpt, it is very much accurate to the movie and is pretty much a one-to-one thing of what we see in the film. Paint job, on the other hand, maybe not so much, but let's go ahead and get into it. The sculpt and paint, much like all previous Playmates figures, the sculpt is made of a variety of different plastics and vinyls. The head is made of a harder plastic, with the jaw being, I think it's also made of hard plastic, but from here to here, basically the crown, it's made of a much more softer plastic. And how I know this is because this plastic and this plastic, they're basically the same thing. But you can kind of see, it's very kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see one. There's a seam line that goes right there and a bit of a color difference. See how this white right here is different to the white on the forehead? I will say the paint on the face leaves a bit to be desired. I was a bit disappointed with how the eyes are painted, just being basic blue dots instead of like maybe some sort of like fancy. I'd give this I'd give this Titan wolf eyes. That would look so good, especially for a creature that walks on all fours like a wolf. This had the perfect chance to become a wolf Titan, especially because like it's an ice-based Titan. Oh, what could have been? But instead they opted to go for a much more turtle-like face, which, I mean, hey, turtles are cool. But I mean, if you're gonna add a turtle face to one of your Titans, can you at least include a turtle Titan? Gamera? Anywho, so the eyes kind of suck, but the mouth, it's not fully painted, but it's a bit better painted than most of the Godzilla figures out there. And Kong figures, I should add. The teeth are actually really well done. They're individually sculpted, at least what teeth are there, and they're probably the most well painted of any of the Monsterverse figures. Although the tongue is half painted, I mean, not really much to really write home about, and the mouth is just solid white. And closing up the mouth, we kind of get a bit more detail more towards the neck. And then from my biggest complaint personally about the figure is that this entire torso, from the tip of the tail to the base of the neck, or the base of the neck to the base of the tail, it just, it's so shallow. Like, even the bottom has some actually pretty good detail with like the ridges on the stomach, and it kind of makes it look really reptilian. I mean, that's what Shimo is, a reptile. But the sides really don't have much detail. You can faintly see a little line going around to the hip area, but really, I feel like some extra paint could easily have brought this thing a long way. I think the 2-pack kind of tried its best with a bit of paint application, but really, I feel like it could have used more than this. But what definitely kind of amps up it a little bit is the limbs, and particularly the front and back limbs. The front limbs are really well done. And I like how long they are too, so you give a bit of a reach advantage, maybe that over Godzilla. Maybe not so much Kong, because Kong does have a lot of long limbs, although proportionally speaking, probably way bigger. But what is also pretty cool is the fact that they are also sculpted so that they're also like, you can put them on the floor, but spoilers for the articulation, but you can actually stand this gal up. But that being also said, the sculpting on the claws, really good here. I like how it has four, obviously four toes, as again, most reptiles do. But again, I really wish there was kind of more paint or more dry brushing to bring out some of the finer details, especially on the side. And the same thing goes with the legs. Really well sculpted, not so much painted. Also on the bottom, really not much aside from that bar thing. But still, it looks rather nice for what is there. But again, I really wish there was some more sculpt and or sorry, there's more paint variety. But here's the color that I feel like a lot of people are going to be buying this for, the blue spikes. Wow, do these things look cool. They're kind of like indigo. They're not purple. I've seen a lot of people say that they're purple. They're not purple. They are most definitely blue. I know blue when I see it. It's my favorite color. Why would I not know what blue is? But as you can see, it is translucent, so it's like a full translucent piece from here to here. Here as well, if you count this, although there is a row of white spikes that are not painted. Again, I really feel like they could have painted that, but say that be. And the tail is not translucent, but it is sprayed in the same color. This is how you do color matching. Because this blue and this blue look near identical. Like, I know there's still a shade difference, but it's still there. And you can kind of like, it's got like a nice spray, and it's almost got like some sort of like illuminating effect, I want to say, for lack of a better word. And it kind of goes all the way to the tip of the tail where it's like pitchforks. I know this is literally a Thagomizer, but I still like pitchforks better, so it's a pitchfork for me. But this will do some serious damage to any Titan or any person that gets caught in the way. And it is sculpted at like an angle, so I guess it is a bit better when it comes to like more dynamic poses. So say if you're going square one-on-one with Godzilla or Scar King or Kong or whoever, because I definitely think that I definitely do believe that, like, as far as like movie discussions go, I definitely do think Scar King and Shimo are not friends per se, but Scar King, it has Shimo under the control of the little crystal that you find under at the end of his whip. Although the Playmates figure I don't think has it. I've seen the Scar King figure in person. I know what it looks like, but still, the sculpted and painted details again, same thing on the body, really nicely done. Nothing really much on the other side to write home about, but what is here, mine's got a little tiny little paint scuff, but that was like out of the box, and there's either this or nothing, so it was this from the get-go. But for what is here, again, looks really rock solid. I love this thing. But that's really all I have to say about the sculpt and paint. I think like overall from like a presentation type standpoint, it's not the best Playmates has done, but it's a major step up in the sculpt and paint department. So, next segment is articulation. So, what do we have? The jaw. Really well done, honestly. I will say it is a bit weird of how it's cut. I know it's like at the jaw, but it, there's some clearance room, which obviously, kind of gives the impression of, oh, that's just where the sculpt was, but it almost feels like the hinge should be here instead of just back here. But, I mean, it's still there. And can actually open up really wide. Like, look at that. You could fit, like, 15 million cheeseburgers in that mouth. The head, major improvement, honestly, compared to the other releases, because it's actually on a hinge. We have not seen a hinge on a figure, I think, since the Kong Skull Island figure. And it can go this far down, this far up, and can actually rotate side to side. That is really cool. I definitely think that, like, if we got more movement like this on the figures, especially like the Godzilla, then it would have been way better. And especially a major improvement is the shoulders. Is that they brought these back. the swivel hinges, which Mechagodzilla's legs were so good and the shoulders were so good on that figure, so I'm really happy they brought these back. So it allows for some really nice range of motion. You can kind of go out like that far up, in about that far in, and can actually do a full complete 360. And even if you couldn't do basic rotation, the hinge has you covered. And honestly, it's really cool. And we also got some like little swivels at the paws, I guess, the feet. Nothing in midway to the torso. I wouldn't expect to, since the spines do lock everything into place. However, we do have some leg movement. So unlike the shoulders, however, they're on basic swivels, which I think is a bit of a downgrade. But I mean, hey, how are you going to stand this thing up? Did I just say stand this thing up? Well, we'll get back to that in a sec. Well, it can kick forward about that far, go backwards about that far, and this foot can also rotate, same with on the other side. And the tail has one singular ball joint that can go up about that far, down about that far, can go to the left about that far, and go to the right about that far. So one singular ball joint movement, nice squeaky noise. And the tail does not have any additional movement, although since it is at an angle, you can get it to kind of like raise up, go like this, maybe like getting ready to pounce or something, tuck the tail between Shimo's legs, go to the side like that, or maybe have it whip it off to the other side. It's really all up to you. So how you stand it up has never been easier. Move the legs up like this, and make sure that the tail is tucked in flat in proportion to the feet. Next, you want to just put Shimu's arms at her side, and then putting the camera a bit up. All you just gotta do is look Shimo forward, and boom, you got your Shimo standing completely upright. It looks stupid. It looks stupid, yes, especially because like Shimu's got that posture of bending backward, so it really looks like Shimo hasn't moved her back in like who knows how many years, or who knows how many centuries, should I say. But this is honestly still really cool on its own merit. So, honestly, in terms of posability, you're not going to get anything like NECA, Monster Arts, or Haya, but you are going to get a major improvement over what Playmates has been recently putting out as far as the Godzilla line is concerned. Because the Godzillas have always been known to be rather limiting when it comes to movement, but the Kongs have always been rather movable. So to see a lizard-like figure really give it all, like, you might as well just add some hinges at the elbows and the knees, and boom, you basically got what the other gods or the Kong figures have. And it's honestly really cool. So Articulation, honestly, gets a really good pass from me. Now, as far as accessories go, it is Shimo with the frostbite, and unfortunately, Shimo did not come with the frostbite. Just kidding. Shimo comes with this tiny little frostbite blast, which it is rather small, which just to like put in perspective of how small it actually is, it's a little shorter than the Mechagodzilla Proton Scream from the Battle Mechagodzilla. And honestly, I don't really like the size of it. I mean, it still looks great. It kind of got, it's got like a bit of impact, kind of like shooting out, and then it's got like the crystal-like formation. Obviously, it's not crystal, but it looks like a crystal. Which, I mean, this movie seems to be pretty much all four crystals anyway, given its theme. I wonder what purpose the crystals will serve in the plot, because so far we haven't really seen anything as far as like plot goes, aside from Shimo being getting controlled by a crystal. But it's made in a translucent blue plastic, which I'm just gonna grab it. It's not the same blue as the Heat Ray Godzilla from GVK. I don't own the GXK Heat Ray Godzilla, and I don't really plan on picking that one up just because I already own the other two, and I don't need a third one. Literally, the only exception I make is the Hong Kong Battle Kong Godzilla because, hey, fancy colors. But enough rambling. How you put this in has never been easier. You open up the mouth, and you look up to the top of the mouth, and you'll see a little concave there. You want to align it there, and boom. You just close up the jaw like that, and you got your Shimo firing the beam. Again, it looks small. I wish it was longer. But then again, kids probably will be messing with this thing, so it's probably best it's small. But then again, this is the only readily available Shimo figure on the market that's like 6 inches. But speaking of size, why don't we move on to size comparisons? For some size comparisons, here she is next to the Playmates, the NECA Godzilla 2014, and the Bandai Movie Monster Series Shin Godzilla, two cult classic Godzilla figures, in I'm guessing everyone's opinion. And I will be doing the size comparisons for Shimo, like this and standing upright. So let's see. And standing upright, you can definitely see, well, at least let's give a better comparison, that Shimo towers above both of them, which is kind of a surprise, even though Shimu's like supposed to be like way bigger than Godzilla is. But it's like, as far as figures go, at first glance, you might not think Shimo can stand taller than either of them, but it's the truth. And here she is next to some other MonsterVerse figures featuring the Playmates Battle Mechagodzilla with the Proton Scream and the T.O.S.G Godzilla 2021 Heat Ray version standing on 4 legs and standing on 2 legs, which, now that I'm really thinking about it, I want to just put this up as a little comparison for myself, since a while back I did this with Mechagodzilla. Oh man, this looks so cursed. 2 titans standing up like humans. And here's the last bit of size comparisons between the Playmates Godzilla vs. Kong Heat Ray Godzilla, the Godzilla vs. Kong with Battle Axe, and the Godzilla X Kong, or Godzilla Kong the New Empire Evolved Godzilla, which I want to stress that these are the only 2 GXK figures I have at the moment. And, well, more reviews are coming soon, but there's no debunking this now, who the taller one is. Oh man, if these two, him in his form versus her, like, this is the most powerful. I have a hard time believing this is supposed to be more powerful than this, but this would be a cool matchup to see. So, overall, what is my, overall recommendation for this thing? I honestly, thoughts on it. I overall think that the Playmates Shimo is a really good figure. I think that there's a lot of things that are done right, and a lot of things that are improved upon via the last releases, but I still think that there's some parts of it that are still somewhat disappointing. For example, the lack of paint on the side of it, and I definitely think that the ice breath should have been a little longer. But those 2 issues aside, this is probably the best you're gonna get for quite some time, because this is the only one of technically 2 Shimo figures on the market right now. The second one being from the battle box, the 2-pack with him, even though it's a different version. It's that Shimo has blue paint on the spikes and on the tummy, and the other Godzilla has blue on the stomach as well. And it also comes with like cardboard stock, cardstock cutouts of like crystals and a giant rib cage. That just makes me wonder, who was that Titan? Because if it's bigger than both Godzilla and Shimo, what if it's Shimo's parents? Maybe. But with that being said, you know, it's your choice as far as recommendations go. If you want to pick this up for your kid, I would honestly just get them like maybe both of them, or maybe just get them one of the battle box sets, because it comes with a lot more for a much debatably a better price. Because even though these are like $10 a piece, that's like $20, and you're getting more for your money's worth. All the accessories plus the diorama plus 2 action figures. That's a sweet deal. But on its own merit, not comparing it to the battle box set, again, for kids, it's fine. It's serviceable. It's great. For the collectors, like myself, you're probably better off waiting for another higher end figure line, like maybe Hiya Toys to release one, or the Monster Arts line, even though all they've just done so far is reveal 2 crummy repaints of the GVK figures and just slap the GXK logo on it. I know both of those incarnations appear, but we don't need those if we already got them. But with that being said, I still recommend it. I think it's a great figure, and I overall rate it an 8 out of 10. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked it, definitely subscribe to the channel. Believe in Jesus, accept Him as Lord and Savior today. Spread the gospel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone. God bless.